What up, people? This is my Yamata FY810, and this is my first industrial machine. So, when I bought this machine, I was excited. I turned it on. I ran something through it. It sewed it okay. I ran another item through it, and this thing seized. All right. Well, 9 months later, here we are. I finally got to wrenching on it because we tried a few things. We had a few people come over, or had about 3 men stirring around the machine while our ladies are standing around bored as could be. Felt like a hot rod or something. It was kind of weird. But anyway, couldn't fix it. It was seized right here. I couldn't even move it. I could not move it. I could not figure out how to move it. We took a lot of the posts apart, separated the gears, still couldn't move it. And, well, this is the story. So what it ended up being is the raised bed post here. The bobbin, when it turned around, was pressing against the side of the raised bed post and seizing the entire machine. And that's what I figured out. But to back it up a little bit, I got it home, had it here for a little while, finally set it on its back, and it turned. And so it seized again, but I knew it could turn, and so that was good. And I ended up taking apart this post probably 40 times, trying to figure out what was going on, because it would free itself up when I took it apart. When I put it back together, it would seize. And it was because this section of the post was too close to this section of the post. Right now, there's a gap down here. It's probably about 1/8 of an inch, a solid 1/8 of an inch. And that gap was not there. And it was making it so this bobbin casing would smash into the cast iron or stainless or the heavy steel, carbon steel, whatever it is here, post that holds the feed dog plate. Now, it took me forever to figure out to adjust this back and forth. So if you're having that problem, that could be part of your problem. If your machine's seizing, is to adjust this entire side, left or right. Probably right. So it takes a lot of taking the gears apart in the bottom. You can see on my Instagram page for MKE Outdoor Indoor Exchange some like time-lapse videos for that, but taking the gears apart on the bottom, sliding them, moving the machine, getting the timing right, making it so the bobbin catches the needle. That's its own 2 hours of learning that I had to do, making it so the bobbin catches right where the needle eyelet is, and then knowing the position of your needle, which side the flat side should be pointing towards, and getting that timing correct. But also I'm trying to get this timing correct while this bobbin's smashing into here. And I'm guessing the timing on the gears. I've never done timing on the eyelet. It takes a while, but once you get it, you get it. You just have to commit the time. I'll tell you, nothing comes easy. Commit the GD time. Another thing that was going on, well, let me just continue with this one before I go on to the next issue with the post. Bobbin casing had a clutter in the bottom. Had to take that entirely apart, pull that off. The stepper foot was out of position. I had to change the position of the stepper foot just a touch, and it now feeds through the feed dog correctly. So the stepper foot, the bobbin, the post, those are all off. The timing was off on here. Oh, okay. So we'll go on to this. This seemed to be working. But all of a sudden, after I thought I got the whole machine back together, this popped out in my hand. This tensioner screw here was loose, so I tightened it thinking that would fix the problem. Reseating it, I seated it here, and then it still popped out. But so I took it out, and I see there's a casing here. Had to get some pliers to pull the casing, and that's actually what the tensioner screw holds in. This, on the back, has 2 tensioner screws that holds the tensioner post, those were recessed and displaced, and the post was displaced. So I had to put it back together. I took apart, loosened the 2 screws on the backside, reset it. Then this damn spring popped off, the tensioner spring. Figured out why, because it was halfway off. It was on wrong to begin with. So I have it on correctly now. It appeared right, but it was wrong. Have it on correctly now. So the tensioner spring, the seating on the machine itself, and the seating on the tensioner post were all wrong. There's 3 issues wrong right here. And so there's 3 issues you can look for. If your spring is lifted up, not tight, with very, very minimal clearance, lift it up in any way, it's probably pulled off. And you need to take it apart and put it back down there where it belongs. If this is loose and not controllable, you might have lost your tension on the screws on the back of the post here. If the whole thing's coming out, it's simply this screw. That was a pain in the neck. This post was MIA. I found it taped to the thread holder over there, so that's good. Oh, another thing. I had this type of square-edged, very square bobbin. And I don't have a good example right now without pulling my bobbin, but I guess I'll pull it for the sake of the video. Very minimal difference. Very minimal difference in the bobbin itself. I hope you can see it there. One's rounded and one's squared edge. And the square edge, very, very minimally, is thicker. And it held up this thing. My furnace is turning on, excuse me. It held up this thing that holds the bobbin down just enough that when the thread came around, it would catch that and it would cause a snag and hang up. And that was an issue. It's avoidable if you know what you're doing. And last but not least, obviously the thing had no grease, no oil, so I went through and re-greased and re-oiled the machine. This pulley was pushed over, and all the tensioner screws that hold it in place on its post were loose, making it grind. So it was grinding here again as well, very heavily. So heavy grind here and a heavy grind here. And I think that's all the things that was wrong with this machine when I got it. Now I know why the guy sold it. He used to make Jordans on this thing because he couldn't fix it. There's just, I mean, I could be wrong. Excuse me if I'm being boisterous and rude. There was a lot of things wrong with it. A lot of very small things, and they added up. So anyway, that's my Yamata YM810 review from the basement of MKE Outdoor Indoor Exchange, the gear exchange in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Thank you for your time. I hope I helped somebody. I'll try to answer your comments and the questions. I'm not on YouTube a lot, but maybe I will be more.